Once again, thank you all for here we are. The show is on the road. And after this, please do not forget to fill out the surveys. They went out earlier, but please, that information is vital. I've heard good things so far, but there are always ways to improve. Please fill out that survey for us. And even suggestions of what else you would like for us to cover. Dr. Crispo, whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Thank you, Shay. Before starting the presentation, um, I would like to, for the people who are in to present themselves, maybe just say their names and if they're farmers or ranchers, can you please tell us what you produce? I like to give my classes and adjust it to the group as agriculture is so different between um, products and commodities because not commodities because we don't have commodities, but um, products. I would like to for everybody to introduce themselves and let us know a little bit about their farming, if they're farmer or if they want to start a farming business. You know, you don't have to give me your idea, but I mean, if you want, you're welcome to. So we can start with Normalina.
Hi, good afternoon. Um, I'm Normalina Martin. My father has actually been a farmer, has been farming throughout my grandfather and my father, and mainly sheep, goats, cows. He's getting up in age. We're doing lime and cucumbers. So I thought to have it passed down to myself and take over, and I'm happy to see the ability to do the recording and things like that, which he hasn't been doing. So I'm looking forward to that portion of things.
Okay. Next one, Godfrey. You can open your microphone. Godfrey or Jennifer.
Hello.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Godfrey, and my both grandfathers are farmers, and since I'm here on St. Thomas, there in Guyana, I've started farming myself. I have mainly plantains and bananas, but I'm trying to expand more because I'm only making a few, only a couple hundred. I want to, start keeping track of things.
Okay. Thank you. Jennifer.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Jennifer Sequeira. I run a nonprofit called SEAT Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, and we sponsor the Three Queens Ventures Women's Business Accelerator Program. And this year we're working with farmers. So I am attending to see what we need to be focusing on with some of our lady farmers, as well as just to get oriented to some of the farmers who may be in the Virgin Islands. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane. Diane or Diane Jeffers.
Hi, greetings from the BVI, Diane. I do farming part-time, most likely season peppers, cucumber, string beans, and cherry tomatoes and okras. My thing was doing it in small batches, and I used to give away because I didn't had a market to say what how should I sell and the prices, because you go into different supermarket, everybody got different prices, and there where the confusion was. So I just plant and just give them away.
Okay. Howard?
Afternoon. I'm Howard Jones. Um, I'm the manager of Smart Life Farms on St. Thomas. And here we grow, lettuce, basil, arugula. Hydroponically, it's a hydroponic farm.
I
And
was
we
gonna
also
ask you if
do,
it's hydroponics, yeah.
yeah, it's a hydroponic farm. So we have those products as well as microgreen sprouts and also mushrooms. Mushrooms is my main area of working, which is like blue oyster, lion's mane, golden oyster, shiitakes, black king oysters, just lots of mushrooms. And yeah, I'm just trying to like learn more about doing this venture for like, working agriculture on my own, like start something of my own. So I'm just trying to like learn and research as much as I can.
Okay, thank you. Ida? Are you there, Ida? We cannot hear you if you're speaking.
Yeah, I guess we'll move on from Ida.
Yeah,
Come back.
well, yeah. When she can fix her microphone, Elena?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm a part-time farmer. I mainly do plantain, banana, guava, mango, pineapple, and I do some cassava and yam, but I want to expand on the yam, cassava, and sweet potato.
Okay. Michael?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael. I'm a aspirant farmer and I joined this teller shop to gain knowledge and also for the networking purpose of it. I do a little bit of backyard farming. I have pineapples, I have bananas, a little bit of guavas, and soon I'm cherry. But like I say, I'll attend this year on a grander scale, so that's why I'm attending this class.
Okay, thank you. Finita?
Hello, my name is Finita Joshua. I work with Jennifer Sequeira, Dr. Jennifer Sequeira, with the Three Queens Ventures Business Accelerator Program. And we're here, like she said, to observe, to learn more about the agricultural community.
All right, thank you. Eric? Is Eric there? If not, we can continue to Matilde.
Good evening,
Eric.
everybody. My name's Eric Ahrens. I run Mycelium Man Farm here on St. Croix. I've been farming here commercially for the last 3.5 years. My main product is mushrooms. Everything oyster mushroom. I probably grow about 12, 13 different kinds of oyster mushrooms to include lion's mane and a local variety of oyster mushroom that I found up in the rainforest. Also have several fruit trees, do microgreens, hydroponic lettuce, and I am here to it's always good to have a good base of knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Matilde?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matilda Wilson. I am originally from Haiti. I was born there and raised there. My both parents are farmers, and I'm a farmer here in St. Croix. I pretty much work in agriculture all my life, and also I ran a small eco-lodge in St. Croix for 10 years. And also I moved to Portland, Oregon. I started a small business on packaging sorrel juice, and I was selling it in grocery store before COVID, but I moved back to St. Croix. I have 5 acres here in St. Croix. I was planning to grow a lot of vegetable to sell right away to make a living, but it wasn't that easy to make a living. It's easier to do it as a hobby, but when you need to pay your bills, it doesn't add up easily. And I have a full-time job right now. My goal is a long-term goal to start planning in the next 5 years to know really well who are going to be my clients and my farm and how I'm going to make it work this time. And when I see the business plan, part 1, part 2, I was really enthusiastic to start working on one for the next 5 years and keep it as a living, lively business plan. So as I learn, I want to land right when I start again the business. Right now, at my 5 acres, instead of growing tomato, cucumber the way I plan, I pretty much focus on long-term crop, which is fruit trees, mangoes, avocados, soursop, coconut, guava berry, you name it. But they just start. I haven't have a lot of fruit trees, but the main goal is to have them here to start fruiting and eventually package them and you do a lot of things that I have in my mind.
Yes, a lot of plans. Okay,
Yes.
Leslie?
Good afternoon. Seems like everybody having issues opening their mic. My name is Leslie Maduro, and I work for the Department of Agriculture in the British Virgin Islands. I too am here to learn whatever I can. I always like to ensure that I keep myself stimulated mentally. And I'm sorry, I driving. I lost my train of thought. But I don't really farm per se. I am an agricultural officer and I assist the farmers with whatever their needs are, so I'm more into extensions. And if I do plant something, I should start by pretty soon. It would.
Okay. Thank you. Well, these presentations are being recorded. I'm gonna post it on the YouTube channel from my project, and I'll send everybody the link. And I know there was more people registered, but that's what the video is for. If you cannot log in, you can watch it later. Um, I think last Tuesday I kind of said or mentioned that what I teach is kind of like the most boring part of agriculture, but it's the most important one. Because this is the one that is going to help you make better decisions so you can have better profits. And as I can see, like in this group here today, the ones that farm, they have a lot of products and they do it. Some of you said as a hobby. I see it as an opportunity for a business. When you have a hobby, you can, move from hobby to a business opportunity. So as I am saying here in Puerto Rico, and I'm started to saying that the future of agriculture here in Puerto Rico and possibly there in the Virgin Islands is gonna be not a farmer like live off like a farmer, but as a second income for your household. So because to become a farmer, like 100% of your income coming from farming, you have to have a very, very good market, not a big size, but related to small farms. You have to have a nice, uh, average size farm at least. And if it's not hydroponics is the exception. But agriculture, as I see, is at least in the Caribbean, there it's gonna become more of a second income for a household. And especially if you're starting with the business. So today's presentation is why it's important to keep records. Last Tuesday, I presented the input use and input costs, or input what I buy or purchase, and the input usage, because they're not the same thing, usage and purchasing. And there's a difference because you have to assign to the cost of production what you use, not what necessarily you buy. Today, I'm gonna present about production records, because production records help estimate farm yields and the average production, because you want to be one is efficient and produce as much as you can in the smaller area of land. That's what you want. That should be the goal. Produce as much as you can in the smaller piece of land you have. And for that, you need to estimate production. You need to estimate the farm yields and average production, either if it's crop yields or animal yields, it doesn't matter. You want to know how much you're producing, and you're using your resources you're using wisely your resources. That's the word I was looking for. They also provide evidence in the case of any losses and help with decision making. If I'm not having the best yield, I need to think what's wrong with my crop, but we're going to see that later on. So, and I want to say that they also provide information to establish a relationship between production and sales, because quantity produced is not the same as quantity sold. We have here in Puerto Rico a lot of farmers who produce a lot of products, but not necessarily they sell all the amount that they harvest. Possibly because they were not ready to handle that much yields, or maybe because their buyers were not interested in their products anymore. I mean, there's many things that you need to lower the risk and handle, especially during the marketing process of selling your product. Production records for crops includes the amount of land harvested, how much is the quantity produced, how much how many units they sell. In the case of animal production, includes the number of animals, the classification, if they're rearing stage, and the function, if they're for farming, replacement, if they're fattening, etc. I'm just gonna show production records for crops. It's a little bit similar for animals. The thing is that I couldn't translate it, the ones I had for animals. So, but I mean, if somebody has animals, I don't think no people mention it here. I can include later on the table for animal, but for crops, it's a simple table. You start with the name of when you do a record, you always start with the name of the record. Second line is the name of the company, and the period, the accounting period. You have your record. So it's a basic table. First column, it's the date. The second column is land harvested in acres. Sales unit, if it's each in units. if you're selling by pound, if you're selling by sacks of 50 pounds, if you're selling in boxes of 50 pounds, in boxes of 25 pounds. I mean, it's the unit of sale is very important to have it. And the amount of production that you harvested. So basically, let's say in January I harvested 1 acre and 1 acre. I know this is plantains because I usually it's for me sometimes plantains is the easiest thing example. And I harvested in 1 acre 31,500 plantains. In 2 acres I harvested 49,000. In 1.5, harvested 43,050. And in 1 acre in April, I harvested 27,650. The reason the numbers, I know their numbers, their few numbers are off, and I know that. It's because I don't know in there in US Virgin Islands, but depending where you grow the plantains and even the bananas, you have to plant about 1,000 plants of plantains or bananas in acres. Roughly, it's 1,000, maybe 995. When I converted in acres. So let's say on average a plantain, I don't know what varieties you have over there, but here the average plantain plant gives roughly 35, between 35 and 40 plantains per plant. So that's where I got those numbers, and I know for a fact 27,000, the last one in April, 27,650 for 1 acre. That's way off. It's like the number is really, really low. But how do I know? Let's see that, because I want to estimate the yield per acre and see what's going on with them. So let's say I harvested those 5.5 acres and I produce 151,200 plantains. So the average production per acre or yield per acre is the same word. It's the same as their synonym. We estimated dividing the total production in units and divided by the acres, like in the previous example. So I divide 151,200 by 5.5 acres. It's 27,491 units per acre. So that means that, oh, this example was bananas, no, it was not plantains. So this means that the average is 27,491 bananas. I think it's plantains, it's not bananas, but it's an example. We produce during that accounting period 27,491. Is that a good number? Is that a bad number? Well, that's the average. So if the average is 27,491, I'm gonna go back to my table.
Yes, and Dr. Crispo, one question, you did have one person say sheep, so I don't know if later you'll cover that, or if it's just exchanging the word, produce for sheep or animals. But in this scenario, how do you tell for laymen, us really beginners, the bunch, the bananas, is that considered one? How do you consider the bunch or the hand? Are you talking about individual pieces?
Yes. The thing is that I know for a fact I made a mistake. It says bananas. Maybe the translation.
It's
I asked
plantain.
one of my students to translate, and I think she put bananas, but it's actually this example is plantains. So here we sell them farmers sell them by unit, like
And
each
that's a
plantain.
bunch
Then
of
in the
bananas.
bananas, it's by hand. Yes. It's the same thing, but usually here when they sell it each banana, but they count the number of bananas per hand. Yes. Yeah, which products do you recommend to be the most profitable? Like if I
Sorry, here in the Virgin Island in St. Croix, we sell it by the pound.
Okay, alrighty. So it'd be similar instead of having the number of plantains, you put the pounds of plantains you sell and divide it by the acreage. Like you harvest the let me rephrase that. Let me say it again. It's the number of pounds or the amount of plantains by pound what you want to include in the total production. So let me get a pointer. Okay, so here I put in units, like I put each, but you have to put all the pounds you harvested when you harvest in an acre. So every time. Is the total production, but yours will be in pounds. I use it in units. It be the same. It just the yield per acre will be so on pounds per acre. That will be your number. So it's the same. So the average production per acre, you have to compare, and I wanted to go back actually to the table. Because I wanted to compare those 27,000 with every month. So it's on average, I produce 27,000. Is that good or bad? Well, if you're in the month of January, you produce 31,500. So there your average yield is higher. Your yield is higher in January and in February. No, February is lower. It's 20.
In April. Yeah.
In
One.
in
Yeah.
April, yes, it's your average. But if we do it in February, we divide the 49,000 divided by 2, so it'd be 24,500. So in the month of February, because there were 2 acres over there, we divided by 2 the 49. So basically in February we have like the yield is really low, but we have to look why was that month really low. Something must have happened. I mean, here in Puerto Rico, theft can be it. I mean, some people going into your farm and harvest your crop. I mean, it without your permission, which is theft, but we say they harvest, just to be sarcastic. Or let's say a fungus came in or illness for the plant. There was not enough rain. It can be also like the prices of fertilizer were really high and you use less fertilizer. So you have to remember what happened for those to have a lower yields. There has to be a reason why the yield was lower during that time. So I think okay, for example, suppose your agribusiness average 28,000 plantains per acre, which means you produce 509 fewer plantains per acre of what you're supposed to produce. Well, you have to look for the reason and compare if your yields are good or bad. You have to compare with other farmers. Are they better, they worse, they're the same? What do the enterprise budget for plantains say? Is that a good yield or bad yield? So is there a reason why it's low, or if there a reason why it's high also? I mean, if it's high, what's the reason? And the reason might actually be you're using a different variety. There's a variety that produce 50, 60 plantings in one plant. I mean, it depends. There's one here that we have that produce like 20, but they're 20 really big ones. We call it the super plantain at a point, but they're really big, but there's fewer plantains. So you have to know also the variety you're growing, not because the average yield say it's low compared to other farmers. It means that you're doing something wrong. It can be your the variety you're growing is different and produce less. It can be the opposite. It can produce even more. There's one variety here that I've seen, like the bunch of plantains, it has like 80 and 90 plantains in just one plant. But I mean, those are not common. Farmers are looking for that one because it gives you a lot of plantains in just one plant. But I mean, so you have to know what you grow. You have to know, the yields, and compare them. Then that's what I want you to remember today. So the average yield per acre per period, as I said, like in January, it was 31,500. I just divided the production by the number of acres. But you can do the same average per period as I did with February. Like in February, I did it every month. The average production, the average yield production. So basically, as I was telling you, February was 24,500, which is significantly less than the others. And you might say, well, it's like 4,000, but 4,000 plantains, it can be a lot. I mean, 4,000 plantains, if you sell them at 50 cents each, it's $2,000. So I mean, it is a significant number. So
Dr. Crispo, do you take into account that 2 acres is a lot more land and maybe you didn't plant the same amount, like maybe on plot 1, on acre 1, you planted 20 and on acre 2
that's
planted
something, yes, it can be
25?
that. I mean, but you have to know,
Okay.
if I were you, I will include another column with observations. Be like, hey, because it can be that you just planted the 2 acres, but you have other crops in the same acre. You have in 2 acres, but you didn't plant the full 1,000 plantain plants in each acre. You probably, if you planted like 500 or 600, then it would be a different story. If you planted the 1,000 per acre, then it's very, very low. So you have to have those observations. You have to know what do your estimate and have those make those observations so later when you estimate why was low. So maybe you grew less plants in there because let's say in the same crop, in the same area, you included plantains and bananas. So you mix them up. It can be an option, but if you did that, then you put like 1 acre. It's not necessarily 1 acre. It'd be half an acre, let's say. So if we make mistakes, but remember is what we do here with farmers, especially today, we had a presentation from the farm insurance here. What they do is they count the plants and the number of plants, then they say, well, if it's 1 acre is 1,000 plants, and you have 500, wait, well, you have half an acre. You know, they just go by the number of plants, not by how far or wide you spread your crops. So, additionally, you can compare yield per acre between harvest months, and even previous year by the same month. Usually, like, we have months that rain a lot. We have months that we almost have droughts. There's months that we have more sunlight, although we don't, I mean, most people don't see it, but we feel it because we're in the Caribbean. We know we have longer days in the summer, a little bit shorter days during, Christmas and on the holidays. So, in that, all of that affect production. So, it is very important that that not every month you're gonna have the same yields. Optimally, it'd be okay. It'd be better if you do, but if you don't, because there are other external factors that sometimes work in your favor, sometimes works against you. So, this is why you have to always compare your production, your yields, and your average yield all the time, so you know that you're doing something good. Or if you're doing something bad also. Something you're not doing anything bad. It might be you got a fungus, a bacteria, an illness, you know, worms in the ground, or you got an infestation of something, and anything can affect your yields. So I think I actually just said all of this. Seed quality is also very, very important. More inputs if you use more or less inputs. I think I gave you the example for fertilizer. So if fertilizer goes up, you'd be like, hey, I'm not gonna add that much fertilizer. So you're sacrificing fertilizer, but it might give you a less yield than what you expected. So these things happen. So make sure you make those comments. I use less fertilizer during this month because the price was high. It's good to have some comments of what you do and during your production. In the case of animals, it will depend on the type of operation. For example, weaning, fattening, egg production, milk production. It's very similar to crops. You just have to take the yield per animal, will be the total production, either in pounds or kilograms, or I don't know, or it can be liters if it's milk, and divide that the production, and divide it by the number of heads that if you slaughter, or if you have in the line of production, it doesn't have to be slaughter, it can be milk. So you have to divide it by the number of milk you have in the production line, or the number of animals, that you're using. So for milk yield per animal is the number of liters divided by the number of heads of cows you have on the line of production. So they're very similar on how you estimate, but in animals you have to take into account by the number of heads. So that is production. So production is not the same as sales. So you want to maximize your production as much as you can in the smaller area of land, but that production, not necessarily you will sell all of it. Maybe because you need to improve your marketing techniques, you need to get seek for market for your products before harvesting it. So basically production does not equal sales necessarily. I mean, it'd be good if you sell everything, but usually it depends. That doesn't happen all the time. So it is very important to keep a sales record also, which is basically very, very, very close or similar or almost the same as the production. But instead of including the quantity of product that you produce, you're gonna just include the quantity sold, the sales price, a sales unit, how much how you sell your product, and the total sales value, which allows you to compare with the amount you sold. As I said, you can keep just a single record for all products, or you can keep just one sales record for just one product. I mean, ideally, it'd be better if you make a sales record for each product, ideally. But if you have like 5 products in your farm, let's just say you have, because as I heard, I mean, you're like Puerto Rican farmers. Puerto Rican farmers usually grow, when they grow between 3 and 4 products in the same farm. So, which is almost the same example as most of you told me. So ideally, having one per product, it'd be better, but that complicates things. You can just make just one sales record and include for all the products, which is this one. This is like for a sales record for multiple products. Always start with the name of this record, company name, accounting period, and then you have one column for the date you sold your products. The product is which product are you selling, if it's cassava, if it's yams, if it's sweet potatoes, cucumbers, mushrooms. You have the space there to include it. The amount, the quantity or the amount you sell, the units of sale, the price you're selling, and the total value of that sale. So as I said, it'd be nicer if you have one per product, but if your farm operation is small and you don't have that many sales in a month or in a year. I mean, let's say you sell 6 times a year, every 2 months. I mean, it can be more complicated to make one for each crop. So the previous one will be better, just one for every product you sell. But everybody has to decide what their preference is, if you want one for everything or one for each product you sell. It can be also you have one for almost every product and your main one just have one separately. I mean, you can do 2, one for the main product in the operation, or the rest you have another one. So basically just say I have a banana company and I'm selling the bananas. I have the information on the sales, the amount and the prices, and those are the value of sales. So let's say I sold in January 28,000 at 15 cents. So my income, it's or the total value of sales is 4,200, 4,200. For the next line, I sold 48,900 bananas at 12 cents. So the total value of sales is $5,868. So I multiply 48,900 times the price to get this value of the sales. So I add all of those values, and at the end I sold $19,399 in bananas in 4 months, which is actually not bad if it's a second income, right? So how do I estimate average sales price? So the average sales price, so we sum all those prices during that accounting period and divided by the number of periods in the accounting period. So in our example in the previous table, so I add up 15 cents plus 12 plus 13 cents plus 14 cents and divided by 4, which is the number of months that the table has, 4 months. But it can be periods, it can be months, it can be days. You can do it by day if you want to, or by year, the average per year. So it depends what you want to estimate the average price, but you can estimate it for different accounting periods. So the average sales price for our example is 14 cents per unit. So it's not that difficult. I mean, Excel has formulas that can do this for you. And I'm teaching these records because they're actually easier to make them in Excel. But if you don't know Excel, just write them down. I mean, just use a calculator. There's nothing bad about it. But instead of writing it on a piece of paper, on a notebook, if you need, you can take these tables, just print out a few tables and just have it, do it manually. There's nothing wrong with that. Excel, the easiest thing in Excel is that you put the formulas and it will estimate everything quickly and automatically. So to continue with my presentation, so as I said, sales is not the same as production. Doesn't mean that you're going to sell them. So let's say that we have our production record, which I presented to you before, and we have our sales record. So if we want to compare how much we produce with the amount we sold, so this is quantity produced, quantity sold. So basically, I estimate I subtract like the 28,000 I sold from the ones I produced. So basically I didn't sold in this period 3,500 and the next one 100 and then March 1,050. So when you add everything up, it doesn't matter how big or small is the number. The quantity of unsold products is 4,650 units. So why do I say this about the quantity being unsold? Because if you add up that, I mean, if you multiply that by the average price, let me do it now. So it's we multiply 14 cents times 46.50. So it's not a lot, but it's $651. So $651 less in 6 months. I mean, $651. It's not a big number, but it's not a small number. You can buy stuff with that. You can buy a TV. You can buy a lot of milk with it. You can buy a lot of bread. You can do like a big go to the grocery and buy a lot of food with it. I mean, you have to be prepared to sell all your products, because if you don't sell them, you're losing, farmers and ranchers are losing money. If you don't sell your product, you lose money. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not a lot, but how much is a lot and how much is not. So basically you have to estimate, and this is why we have to keep these records, is because you want to see how much I did not sell, and multiply that with the average price for the product, and that will give you the number of how much money you're losing. So basically, we're, by not selling these 4,650 bananas, you're losing $651 at the average price.
And again, a layman's question again, Dr. Crispo, maybe pricing the 14% banana, is that average somewhere in the market, or that's just paying attention? How do you calculate, and maybe you can say if you'll cover it later, how do you calculate the price of your produce, what you should
Oh,
sell?
that I'm going to that actually. Let me
Okay, all
see.
right, we'll wait. Okay, so we have some questions on the screen. Okay,
Are you looking at my, can you look at my presentation? Can you see it?
she can see it now. I took care of her. Miss Martin
Okay,
can
okay,
see it.
okay.
Mhm.
I went up too far then. Okay, got it. So, okay, so it's a good question, and I'm gonna cover it actually. I didn't have it in the presentation, but then I realized I should include it. And I actually have exercise I'm gonna give you. I mean, if you want, I can give you a few minutes later, so you can do the problem, the exercise. It's easy enough.
That would be
And
great.
then I can discuss the exercise. But let me finish the presentation. Almost over, I think. So sales is not the same as production. So we need to look why we didn't sell these products. Was I ready to sell them? Yes or no? Maybe I expected less amount of what I actually harvested. It can happen. Um, um, so should I look for someone to sell this excess production? Maybe the decision is, should I plant fewer bananas for my next time I'm gonna plant them. It can be also an answer to your question of what am I gonna do with these unsold bananas. Am I gonna seek for the next production cycle? Am I gonna seek more buyers, or am I gonna keep the same ones and try to sell them, or should I plant less? The option is never to plant less. It's just to seek more. Never plant less. There's market for everything. I mean, I bet there's market. Somebody the other day asked me, is there a market? There's a market for anything. I mean, food is expensive right now, and if you sell them at a good price, I mean, people are gonna buy it. Especially because it's produced locally, it's fresher, it's better possibly. It doesn't have a lot of basically I'm assuming it's the same in US Virgin Island as in here. Like a lot of people accuse farmers of using a lot of pesticides and chemicals. And I was like, no, not really, because if they use a lot of chemicals and pesticides, the cost of production goes up, and it's already higher than in anywhere in the US and in the world. So I mean, there's farmers here, at least in the Caribbean, I bet, Puerto Rico, they don't use a lot of pesticides or chemicals. They will use if they have to, because if not, it will raise their cost of production. It'd be too high to sell. So,
Do you, Dr. Crispo, question, do you lose production if you then make your assets that you have, right? How do you write off if you do a value added product then, like you have a lot of bananas and then so you make, I don't know, banana shakes, you make dried bananas, you make banana smoothie. Does that affect your sales? How do you write that off? Do you just then, because it then became a value added product?
it's value added. It depends. I don't know how you do it over there. Accounting wise, it's a small operation. You can keep it as the same company, but yes, that is an option. Value added. It just, start selling banana bread or banana shakes or smoothies. Sometimes you have to cut your losses. You were selling it at let's say average price of 14 cents, sell them cheaper, because if not you're gonna lose. I mean, you want to recover some of your costs at least, so sell them half price or a little bit lower. See if somebody will buy it from you. That might be, even if it costs you, let's say your cost of production is, let's say 10 cents. I mean, to recover all your costs, you should sell it at 10 cents. I mean, if you have to sell it at 9 or 8 because you have no other option, well, it's better to sell it at 8 or 9 than not selling it. So, because you at least cover part of your cost. You didn't recover all of it, but I mean, you can sell them at some point, but it's a small quantity also, because you had profits already on your other ones. So you can bear to lose a little bit in that small batch. It's you can sell at different prices also. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does to me. Please put comments. I'll respond to the comments if it's appropriate during the session, else we'll hold it. But anyone, you can unmute your mic and chime in as you need to.
Okay.
But just the clarity. So to sell it at anything, I mean, $1 is better than no dollar, right? So if you then get down to you have, I don't know, just one or two, three hands left, and you can't possibly, doesn't matter how low you go, sell it. Well, I don't know if that's possible, right? Because if you sell it at 5 cents, somebody's gonna take it. But if for whatever reason, hypothetically, you can't sell it, again, do you write that off because you can't sell it? You write it off. It doesn't go into your figures at all.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this example. Let me just write it down so I won't get confused. Maybe I should put it in
Okay.
this slide. So if you're
You can do it at the end
selling,
if you want. Yeah.
so you sold 146,550, and let's say your cost of production was 10 cents. Right. So I sold that at 14 cents average price. So 146. So that was 20,557. If I sold them, the cost of production for that was 14,655. So it cost me 14,000 to produce those 146,000. Okay, so this cost me 14,655 at 10 cents. But I sold this for 14 cents, so that's my profit, 4 cents for each. So my income was 20,515. That means I have roughly about 6,000. It's a little bit less than, it's 5,000 something. It's almost 6,000. And let's just round it up. So I had 6,000 in profit, but I didn't sell this 4,650. If I can sell them those even at a lower than my cost, I mean, you still have profit, but you're
Okay.
gonna recover a little bit more. And you see my point? So you
Yes,
make
that makes
profit in your first 146,000. So you had a good profit. So you sell the other ones cheaper and recover some of the cost of producing those.
Okay. Yes, understand. Makes sense.
Does that make sense? Maybe I should add that slide in there. So you can sell different prices, the same product, and it doesn't matter. And if you sell it at a lower cost because it's gonna get ruined, you know, it's gonna get ripe and you're gonna lose it anyways. I mean, you can actually sell it for feed for animals. Like pigs would love to eat bananas and plantains. Just sell it cheaper for a producer who have, you know, pigs. So, I mean, because you had a little bit of profit and you can spare losing a little bit on these ones. And you will recover. It actually be some profit additional. The thing is that if you see it as cost wise, yes, you're selling it lower than your cost, but you already had a profit. So this will add to your profit. So to estimate the break-even price, which is the price you need to sell to recover all your costs, you should
As in,
estimate that by dividing the total cost by the quantity sold.
Hi, Mr. Godfrey. You have a question? Okay.
Okay, but yeah, it's sensitive on the microphone. So the break-even price is the price. I call it minimum price. You have to sell your products, but I mean, a lot of people like to use break-even price. I don't like to use break-even price because for me, break-even is when in economics is when demand and supply are the same. But anyways, I'm gonna use break-even price because that's what most people know. But it's the minimum price to recover. You have to sell to cover all your production costs. So you divide the total cost by the quantity sold. Is your break-even price. Or you can do it by the total production. If you do it by the total production, then you're kind of like underestimated because you didn't sell. There's a lot of product it's not being sold. So I prefer to do it with the quantity sold to make sure that all the products you sell, it's get paid for. I mean, you get income and profit from at least, well, the break-even price is to cover all your costs. There's also a number that you need to estimate. So a lot of people do the break-even price, but I want to know based on my production, how much do I have to sell to recover all my costs? It's very similar to break-even price, but this is by the amount. So of my 176,000 bananas, how many do I have to sell to recover all my costs? And that you have to estimate it by dividing the total cost by the average sales price. And you can use market price also if you want. I mean, for these problems, I use average price, but if you have the market price, it'd be even better. You can switch between one or the other. And these will tell me that, and I'm gonna give you an example, how how many do I have to sell to recover all my costs? And after that number, then my profits are gonna be all mine. Okay, so let's say my total cost is 2,500 and the total production is 10,000. So I produced 10,000 units of whatever product and my total cost was 2,500. I mean, it's an example. It's to make simple the example, especially using twos and tens. And the market price is 30 cents per unit. So what's my break-even price? Is the total cost divided by the total. In this case, I use total production, but I can also use the amount being sold. I mean, you can switch them also. So break-even price for my whole production is 25 cents. If I don't sell all my production, that break-even price is gonna be higher because I'm not selling all of it. That means the bottom, the total production will be switched by the total, the amount being sold, and that break-even price can be higher. The minimum quantity to be sold be the total cost divided by the market price, which is 2,500 by 30 cents. So the minimum, that means I have to sell from the 10,000, I have to sell 8,333 to cover all my costs. The unit 8,334, then I will start getting in profits after that. So and the break-even price explains itself. So I have to sell at 25 cents minimum to recover all my cost. If I sell higher than 25 cents, that'll be my profit. Like if I sell it at 30 cents, I have 5 cents profit per unit. Okay. So let's say if there's a price change, let's say the price is lower in the market. So what will be the minimum quantity to be sold? So I divide again the total cost by the market price. It's 26 cents. So if the market price is lower, I have to sell more product to recover all my costs. And this is what the example says. So the lower the market price, the more units I have to sell to recover all my costs. And why do I say this? And this is not in the presentation. This is why there's a lot of I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. So basically, this is why a lot of programs are being focused, especially in USDA, to add value to products, because higher prices mean for you that the minimum quantity you need to be selling, it's lower, right? And you get more profits. This is why there's a lot of programs with added value, like the farmers market and promoting farmers markets, because if you go directly and sell to your consumers, selling directly to the consumers without an intermediary, you get higher prices. So you don't have to sell as much to recover all your costs, and then you will have better profits. And this is why I added this example over there, because a lot of programs, this is the reason why programs like farmers market are being promoted, and the value added, it's been promoted. It's because they want you to sell less at higher prices, and if you sell everything at higher prices, it'd be better. because you will have a lot of more profits. So basically, every record has a purpose, and if you have a farm, depending on your farm operation, you have to have somebody help you out if you cannot do it. If the farmer cannot do it, have somebody help them as a family member, and that's in charge of keeping these records and keeping them secure. I always have to talk a little bit about ethics because not because there are grants and programs I have to um include numbers that are not real. I mean, they serve as evidence for insurance or even court cases. So I mean, keeping this is part of the ethics there. Like if in business schools, like there's a lot of ethics courses after the Enron case in the 80s. So a lot of the business schools have been adding ethics into their programs because it is really important to keep your records accurate, um um in your production, and your, in this case, in farms, but in any business. So why keep these basic records? First, because it will help you make better decisions, but also because these basic records will help you make or keep the accounting records. It will help you provide information to create the accounting records in the farm, in farm and agribusinesses. The accounting records are inventory, the income statement, cash flow, budget, and balance sheet. They all have a purpose. They all have their reason to be. Sometimes they're similar, but they're not the same. So from these basic records from production, sales, etc., production, sales, input, use, and purchases, we can create all these accounting records. So that being my presentation, but I do have a problem so we can work on. I mean, let me see. Let me open it. Is there any question?
Yeah, I was monitoring the chat to see if anyone wrote anything. So you explain yourself perfectly. No questions in the chat, or those of you who want to verbally express a question, now's the time to do so.
I was either too good or too bad.
Oh, well, I had a question actually. I know we saw like a big part of the equation was the market price. Is there somewhere where we can see a degree of standardized market prices? Are those something that's set, or is that just by community and by location?
It's by location. The thing is, like, I don't know over there. I mean, our dream here, like ag economists here, like the people in my department, you don't know how much we can do with prices. We can do so many research about it and make a lot of projections just by having prices. But here the Department of Agriculture, the Puerto Rico Department of Agriculture, the statistics office, I mean, they produce some, but it's not enough. And our dream was, we wrote once a grant, but they didn't grant us because it was too specific to Puerto Rico. But that's another that's another story. But we wanted to design a system to inform farmers and ranchers about the prices live, like live price, how much is in the farmers market, the prices of every product every day. So that is ideal. I don't know how it's done over there. In the USDA, it's NAS who is the one producing the prices. But usually every state has their own specific system. They announce the prices. So I don't know how it's done there in the Virgin Islands, because
Well,
Puerto
you have
Rico, we have something, but it's not the greatest either.
Yeah,
So
well, you have to come over on the fam trip. Puerto Rico, the University of Puerto Rico, they will have a fam trip at the end of August, and I invite those who have farms, if you want your farm to be viewed or they want to do site visits to find out these things and talk with you, just let me know, contact me. But we do have a question, Dr. Crispo. Which produce on average is the most profitable?
that's a good question. We don't know because it's gonna depend because markets are volatile and basically you might expect a price because by the nature of the production of your products and how much time you have to wait to harvest because there's some that are easier than 45 days. You can get lettuce, mostly vegetables. But like in plantains that you have to wait for a full year, it's kind of difficult to predict prices. So it's really hard to predict prices. Profitable, I have no clue because we don't have that much information on it. And I mean, if we have like, I have an extension agent here that he likes always to say, if you have had the magic wand, and I mean, if I knew it, I'll be producing more and more and have a big farm. But it is a science in economics, but if we don't have enough data, we cannot tell you this information. I can tell you, well, you can grow. What I tell my students is like you have to innovate. So is there's a lot of people who plant plantains, just grow something else. Because then you have to compete against them. So basically we have a lot of plantains here. Why grow more? Just go, different direction. Maybe bananas might be the solution, maybe papayas. I mean, what I teach my students is to be different, but be different by looking also into the consumers and what consumers want. Actually, I teach a class about consumer economics, and I always say this: produce something that the consumers want, and that you see in the market is not, there's not enough, and that would be, if it's going to be profitable, possibly because there's not enough in the market. Because usually when there's not enough in the market, it's going to be, higher prices. I have a story I want to share maybe. So when I started as a professor, so this news came out, let's just say. So sour soup, I saw a news about sour soup and sour soup. How do you say
You
it?
said sour sop.
Sour soup. I don't know. I mean, thank you. So sour soup, it came out in the news like many years ago when I first started in the university that it helps reducing your risk of getting cancer. And that's a big good news, right? So I gave this training to ag extension agents. I was like, I know economics. I know how the market goes. And it's like, well, by this news, if I were you, and that was like many, many years ago, like more than maybe it might be 14 years from it. I told them, well, if I were you, I would tell your farmers to start growing soursop, just a few acres. They don't have to plant, their entire farm by it, but I will start telling them, you know, just do it because the prices are gonna go high. Because I know, because the demand after that news, the demand for that price is gonna increase, and if the demand increase, the price is gonna increase. And they're like, no, because you don't have the numbers. They told me the numbers, blah blah blah. At that time, the price of the soursop was like $2 a pound or 190 something a pound. And a soursop takes about 8 years to grow, like the full tree, and start producing. So if they did that 14 years ago, when I told them, the price today of the soursop is 5.90 something, almost $6 per pound.
They should have listened to you.
I told them, I keep telling them that. I was like, you didn't, I mean, it was logic. For me, it was logic because this is why I wanted to teach you economics and demand and supply, because I knew the demand was going to rise and I knew the price was going to rise. So, and it takes, I knew it took many years for the soursop to grow, to a full tree. So anyways, that's my story. What I want to say is, part of the answer to your question is that you cannot know exactly which was the most profitable, because one can be very profitable right now, but there's some news that comes out, and bad news about, let's say, the product affect your heart or affect your kidneys, and the demand is gonna get decrease and the price is gonna decrease. So what works now, it might not work tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna say. It is a science. So there's a exercise here I developed. So basically, you just have to estimate in the first one the total value or the cost. In this case, is the total cost, and a small sales record, just multiply the amount for the price, and then in the cost, you multiply the quantity for the price to get, fill out those yellow cells, and then you estimate the average sales price, the break-even price, and the maximum quantity to be sold. I don't know if you want, I can give you 10 minutes.
Yes, and thank you those who are able to stay with us. We appreciate the overage of time, and just want to say that I respect your time if you need to go, but this will be recorded. But thank you for staying and participating with us. So yes, go ahead if you could start to calculate and just drop your answer in the chat. I was gonna blurt it out, but that takes the fun out of it. The process of this is to learn. So. Dr. Crispo did explain the formula. Let's see who all remembered and paid
Oh, the
attention.
formulas are here too. I just put it here so you can it'd be easier.
Okay, see, even
So
better.
you
So
have
there's a
average
reason.
price. I included it in the.
Oh, you gave
I know it's
a
easier.
cheat sheet. You gave a cheat sheet.
Well, I know you don't have the presentation, so I'll give you. I give you the formula.
Okay, so let's see if we get some answers populating. And I don't know if you don't have a calculator, if you have your phone nearby, you can go into your calculator and start just putting your responses. Don't worry about it being wrong or right. The process of this is to learn to actually do it, so it is better retention for you. So just go ahead. We are looking at seeds, right? We need to know the total cost, total value or cost of seeds at their top. Oh, it's a quiet crowd. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got a 250, 250. Okay, anyone different? Everyone agree? I guess by consensus, everyone agree.
Agree, 250.
Okay, Ms. Diane says 250. And maybe one more, and then that'll confirm it. Three's the charm. Anyone, anything different, or all confirmed with 250?
I mean, how did you get? Well,
The 250?
I'll wait actually.
Okay, no problem. That's what
I
it
mean, I
is.
was more so trying to. I realized I'm not even so sure which value we're plugging in for.
Okay, so we are looking for the total. We're at the top on the C's looking for the total value of cost. And she had down on the right column for those of you who need the help. So it's actually your quantity used, which is 5, times your cost per unit. So if you multiply 5 times 50, you get the 250.
Okay, that was the simple part. Okay, I don't know why I started immediately going to the equations at the bottom.
See, you're not
Yeah,
paying attention in class. We're at the top. So yes, we're at the top for now. Okay, and that is correct. It's 250. I paid enough attention. So then it's simple. Then if that's the same thing, then fertilizer should be easy. And Dr. Crispos can, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over at all, but she'd correct me if I was wrong. So then easily we would say fertilizer would be what? What would be the price of the fertilizer?
should be 120, right?
Try it again. Try again.
Wait, the fertilizer?
Yeah, the second one. We're at the top box. The second one under C's, fertilizer.
Oh, yeah, I think I carried the number wrong.
Yes, yes, you did. You were off. Yes. Okay, great. 110. We got 11,000. We got 110. Um, Any others? Yes, it would be 110. Again, you're just simply taking your quantity used and multiplying it by your cost per unit, and that gives you total value of cost. And so now that everyone's catching up to it, so then our pesticide would be, what would be the total value or cost of our pesticide?
Should be 460. I think I got this one right, at least.
You sure? Try again. You keep getting
Lord,
the ballpark.
how?
Lower, it's lower, it's lower, it's lower.
It's because I'm not using a calculator.
But it's always good to try. This is good. This is good stimuli, right? We have you want to tell me what we got, or you're gonna try? I got one answer in the chat already. Let's see if everybody agrees. Do you agree it's 500 or 400? I'm sorry, 400. It's 400. Yes, okay, everybody agree it is 400. So you get the idea again. So and then again, there's 2 fertilizers. So the second quantity of 5 fertilizer at $72 per unit gives us simply, she's on it, Miss Martin. Yes, there you go, 360. And so that is how you would get your total value of costs. And again, remember the formulas. I like this sheet. Dr. Crispo, we'll have to get this sheet. I'll see if I can get this sheet for you guys. We can include it, something to take away and always a reminder. So, Dr. Crispo, we want to go down to the sales record now. You want to explain to us the second part? We are trying to calculate total value of cost.
Okay, yes. So basically, you multiply your quantity sold by the price per unit. So you multiply 200,000 times 70 cents, and that will give you your
That's our,
Your answer,
to give us our okay, that gives us our total.
and that's 140,000.
Oh, you cheated. You took all the fun out of it. We want, okay, so she did plantains at 5 acres. Okay, go on to the next one. My mathematicians, 4
So
acres.
160 times 60 cents, that will be
Stop
the
saying that. They're supposed to think. Don't tell them the formula. We're supposed to be trying this out so we can get it. You won't be there with us. Okay, wait, 96. Let me see. Oh, I forgot to calculate it myself. 96,000. What's 96,000? Hold on. Let me see. Which one? Where are we at? We're at, what is that? I could find out which one we're at. Okay, so at 4 acres, if we have 4 acres of plantain, and we sell the 160,000 at 60 cents, you are correct. We got 96,000 as our total value of cost. Okay, very good. Everyone kind of gets it. Should we do another one? One more? You want to go and do 3 acres? Just everybody can, get familiar with the formulas and what you're doing. So if we got 3 acres of plantain, and we sell 120,000 at 50 cents, what do we have as our total costs or total value of plantains? Right. Okay. So I think we've kind of grasped that. So the last section here, and again, we'll try to be respectful and get us out. Can we make it a little bit bigger at the bottom? Using
Yep.
the information above, please estimate the following. Okay. So now here we go. It's A, average sales price. Okay, so we're using the information above. We are now wanting to get our average sales price. Okay, so the formula to calculate our average sales price. I think you need to go down. Oh, wait, here on sales record, we're using this. We're using this one right here. Okay.
Using the second table, yes.
Yeah, we're using the second table. Okay. All right, so. Oh, but we didn't get our total. You'd have to plug it in for us to be able to.
Oh, that's true. I have to put here the
Yeah.
yellow. I should have put there. Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
So
Hey, I wasn't good at trigonometry and geometry, but basic math, add, multiply, divide, and subtract, I can do that. Okay, so that's total. You're doing totals. So we got HR people in the room. Leslie says that payroll cost. Price per unit. So if you're doing price, if that's total, you're adding down total,
so you add
that's
70
$2.60.
cents. Yeah. You add
$2.60.
you add this, and then this number you will use in this formula. Sum of all prices. So you add 0.70 plus
Yeah, that gives you
0.60 plus 0.50 plus 0.80 is the top number. And then the number of accounting periods is 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Oh, okay. So you do.
And then the 2.6 divided by 4, yes, it's 0.65.
Yes, 0.65. Good, Miss Jennifer. Average sales price. So we're selling our plantains at 65 cents. Okay. So our break-even cost then. All
So
right.
even price will be, if you add all these numbers, I can tell you the number here so you can have it.
Yeah, okay.
728. So
now we go back.
The total divided by the quantity sold. So it'd be this one.
Yeah. You're gonna have to write that in. Yeah, that's a lot to add. Okay. So So if we want our break-even price, we have to take
Actually, that's not the number. Hold on. That's not the number. Sorry about that.
oh, I'm gonna have to go behind you and check. Okay, I see. This is measure twice, cut once, they say. So that's plus 120. And remember, for a lot of people, this is where we get leery. Math is typically not our strongest suit, but just for the basis of you doing and growing your business and knowing, if you continue to practice, you get better at it. And if you just here's three simpler formulas right there, broken down as to how you can basically get your average sales price, your break-even price, your minimum quantity sold. And if you just keep these three formulas, if you learn no other formulas but these will help you in your accounting and in your records and knowing how much to sell. And Ms. Martin, 550,000 for the break-even price, or you're adding the quantity of the quantity sold? That's the quantity sold. Okay, quantity sold is 550,000. 550,000. That's what, yes, Miss Norma says. Okay, so we got 550,000 and we're looking for B, break even price. So we need,
so that quantity sold is, never mind.
yeah, you have to add up all of those, all of the quantity sold. So 200,000, 160,000, 120, and 70,000. And it gives you a total of 550,000. And so remember, we're looking for our break-even price. The numbers that we need for our break-even price are total costs and quantity sold. Okay, you might can't see it, but at the top box is where we have our total costs. Okay, so you take your total cost, you divide it by your quantity sold, and that should give you your break-even price. Divided. Okay, let me see what is anyone else trying it? I'll see what
I feel like
you
I'm
all
dividing
did.
it wrong.
What number do you have? And I could tell you.
That was like 0.065, so I'm pretty sure I put stuff in the wrong order.
No, you good. You just times it by 100 and it'll give you. But wait, how can your we said our average sales price was 60. But oh yeah, okay, so your break-even price would be 6, well, rounded up, it's gonna be 65. It's gonna be the same, Dr. Crispo. Your average sales price is 65 cents and your break-even price is 65 cents.
No, your break-even price is 0.06. So you divide the 35,728 by 550,000.
Yeah, to give you 0.064. So if you times that by 100, it gives you, I mean, yeah, 64. It's
No,
64.
that's your break-even. The average price of the average sales price is 65. So you're basically your cost is 6 cents, but you're selling it at 65 cents. That's why you're doing over there. So this is 0.65. And this one is it was not by design, they're similar.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, Howard, you were right. Look, you thought you were doing it wrong. You were right because I was already, because they had a 0.064 and I was rounding it up to 65 cents already. So wait, the
Oh, yeah, no, I
break-even
guess
price, wait, the break-even
have
price is
I
6 cents?
So the
6 cents? That's
break-even
that's
is
all.
this one,
Mm-hmm.
35,728
Correct.
divided by 550, by 550,000. And the average price was just you add up all these four and
And that
divide it
gives
by
you
four.
$2.60. That gives you
Oh, yeah.
together.
So why did you multiply by 100?
No, that would give you if I did that, that gave you it took out the decimal.
Okay, yeah, because the one I did, I got 0.065,
Yeah.
not 0.65.
Yeah, I got that too. But then I thought we were trying because the break even price, this isn't wait, your break even price is 6 cents?
6 cents. So yeah. So basically if you sell all your production at 6 cents, you will recover all your costs. And the average sales, you're selling it at 65 cents an average.
Okay, so those aren't relatable. So I guess in my mind, I think I have
Yes.
those as being relatable. So I have to separate that. Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm like, well, because
One
it,
is to the average price you sell, but the
uh-huh.
other one is the price to cover all your costs. If you sell all your production, that's break
That's
even. If you sell
okay.
all your production. So, and the bottom one is the minimum quantity to be sold. So, which is the total cost by the average price. And that should give you a number of,
The
it's
total cost. Okay. Total
54,966. Yeah, 54,966. So if I sell at 65 cents, and to recover all my costs, I only have to sell 54,966. So basically I just have to sell 54,966 out of the 550,000 I have if I sell it at 65 cents. The rest is gonna be my profit.
Yeah, so you got a profit of 59 cents.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's why it was throwing me. I thought, okay, don't do what I
So
did.
minimum at 65 cents, I have to sell 54,000, almost 55,000.
Okay.
So after that, it's your profit.
It's profit, straight profit. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of profit. Okay.
Yes.
We got the minimum quality sold, right? You already told us. We already
Yeah, it is. This one is
Did
50.
anyone got the same as what Dr. Crispo has? So
No, I'm a little confused by the break-even price.
Okay.
'Cause
Oh,
I thought
so
the
if
total value was supposed to be 352,
three
352,000 under the total or costs column divided by the 550,000.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that 64 cents?
Well, she just didn't add she did 0.06. She didn't do the 64. She just did 0.6 in because she didn't round, it's 0.064. So she just dropped the extra.
I just put the what I did. So I did the 35,000.
Oh, that up there. Okay.
728 divided by 550,000, which is this number here, which is the quantity sold, and then you get 0.6.
I
Yeah, that's
apologize. I apologize. I was looking at the bottom sales record where it says total value or cost.
Oh,
There.
okay. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
For
I included my on the website that I have for you guys. I included the presentation in English and Spanish, and I also included the exercise and the solution. I have to say the solution because I made a mistake. I had a
Yeah.
one number wrong, but
Will you drop the website again in the chat for those who may be joining us for the first time today?
Yes, so
and then again, this recording, we have part 1 recording uploaded, and then after we streamline this recording, it will be uploaded. So give her well, you said give a week because you're gonna do both of them together. So give about a week for them to upload the presentations. But they're already there
here's
in
the
Spanish.
presentations. I have to fix that. Anyways, I'll do it now since I'm gonna do it now. So you have all your presentations here. You go to the let me post it on the chat. And then at the top you have English, USVI, you look for presentations. The videos we're about to upload them. I have to tell my students. but you have the presentations and the exercise and the solution.
Okay, so
So
Mr.
I'm gonna post everything in there, yes, and then the videos are gonna be in the other in this other page.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up in the essence of time. Thank you all for sticking and staying. That's how I know that you
Yes.
really want this and this is important, that you're learning something. So Mr. Jones, is it a question relating to the formula before I let us break away so that you need clarity? But again, you can also reach out to myself or Dr. Crispo. Dr. Crispo, you have to put your information in the chat. But they're, like I said, they're going to be a fam trip, August the 26th to the 28th. We will have some of the professors from the University of Puerto Rico come over to visit. And again, talk to us, get a lay of the land of what we have going on. And so that we can work together for valuable solutions and workshops and programs and trainings like this. So again, if you have a farm or you want them to come by and stop and by and see you and chat for a bit, just contact me. I'm getting together the site visit list together as we speak. So just contact me quickly. I'll give you a week because I want to have it confirmed where we're going and, for logistics purposes. But we want to thank Dr. Gregory Crispo. I got the two last names, Gregory Crispo, and thank all of you for sticking and staying. Complete the survey. There will be a survey release if you haven't gotten, the one would suffice for the 2 courses. Please fill that out for us so that we can know what we are doing good and what we need to improve and what we need to offer you what you're seeking. Okay. Again, I want to thank Dr. Crispo for coming. Thank you all. And that concludes the course. And stay for next week where we will have agriculture business plans, part 1 and part 2. We have awesome presentation. Thank you, Dr. Gregory.
Thank you
Thank you.
for staying. Yes.
Okay,
And for
yes.
waiting
Good
for
night,
me.
everyone. Go ahead and have dinner now. Good night, and we'll see you all next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.